Can you tell me every single social media trend that you saw last year? Probably not, and I know I definitely couldn't tell you either. However, there is one trend that we keep seeing come back and back time and time again, but in different fonts, and that is sustainability. So what does that mean? Is sustainability a trend? Will it soon leave our social media feeds in favor of something else that is new and shiny and different? I don't really think so. The rising popularity of trends like de-influencing, Project Pan, underconsumption core, all of these sorts of trends, again, are sustainability in different fonts. So even if these trends go away or become a little bit less common to see on our social media pages, it doesn't mean that sustainability is a trend that is going to go away one day. In fact, I think it just means people are going to get more creative and come up with different kinds of trends to incorporate sustainability into mainstream media. I love a trend because it takes something that people are recognizing as a necessity, incorporating sustainable practices into our everyday habits and routines, as well as supporting brands that have more sustainable initiatives. It takes those big picture ideas and puts them into really approachable ways that we can all take action. So let's go through the trends, shall we? But first, if you're new here, my name is Crystalline. You can call me Krys, and we chat all things mind, body, and planet on this corner of the internet. So I hope you stick around. People spend an average of 2.5 hours per day on social media. So it's inevitable that you're going to come across influencers that basically their job is to sell you something. They're trying to influence you to buy products. Some brands have bigger marketing budgets than others. Therefore, certain creators will focus on certain brands that have a bigger budget that are able to pay them more versus other brands that don't have a huge marketing budget and can't afford to pay whatever price they charge. So de-influencing is fascinating because it became popular because people were tired of seeing influencers promote the same products over and over again. Then people get influenced to buy those products, which aren't even good at the end of the day. I know a big one is the Always pan. Look, I was influenced. I bought 2 Always pans myself. And even though the pans worked really great for the first 3 to 6 months, after 6 months, everything started burning on my non-stick quote, quote, quote pans. But we see this a lot. It's not just the Always pan. Now, Always pan has come out with a second pan, whatever you want to call it. They've come out with a second edition of their pans, which is supposed to be better, but I've been fooled by the first one, so I'm not going to go ahead and repurchase the second one and cross my fingers that it's going to be better than the first when I didn't even have a great experience with the first to begin with. And the pans may work great if you're not someone who tends to cook every single day, but for my lifestyle, it just did not make sense to have a pan that is going to basically burn my food and always have little crispies on the bottom because everything burns on the bottom no matter what I do. De-influencing is really cool because it's a stark change. It's a stark contrast from traditional influencer culture where people want you to buy, buy, buy. Instead, people are saying, actually save your money. What you already have already works. Now, this trend started to shift a little bit as it became more popular. These bigger influencers started taking that trend and they were using it as more of a buy this, not that sort of trend, which is definitely not what the original intention was, but things shift and change as the internet takes hold of the original trend and they turn it into something different. That's just always going to happen. But the original heart of de-influencing was very wholesome. It was very much so like, hey, me was influenced to buy something by another creator on this app, only to find out that it actually sucks and no one should spend any money trying to buy this product because it says it's good when it's really just not that good. There's also the factor of wanting to keep up with the latest trends. And if it seems like everyone on social media has this certain product, then you as a consumer of social media will also look at that product and think, well, it seems like everyone has it, therefore I need to have it too. And that's just not the truth. The de-influencing trend, I think, showed a lot of people that just because one person says that it's the best product for them does not mean it's going to be the best product for you. And it also just opened up a lot of people's eyes to the fact that not everything you see on social media is 100% the truth. I think we all kind of saw this again with the impending TikTok ban, where a lot of very famous creators started posting to like this viral sound that they didn't actually do the workouts that they post when they're workout creator, or they totally were posting content in an attempt to rage bait people into giving them more engagement. People don't realize that a lot of creators have this sort of strategy to do that. And I'm a creator myself, so I totally understand it. But Some creators will go farther just to have more recognition, to have more fame, to get more followers, to get more engagement. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And the de-influencing trend opens our eyes to know that not everything you see on the internet is true. This next trend that we have seen rise more and more is even something that I've talked about multiple times this year on my channel, and that is Project Pan. I am a sucker for Project Pan. I think it is so impactful that a lot of people, instead of doing hauls where they're just buying a bunch of new products, instead are doing it's almost like an anti-haul. They're using what they have. So by the time they get to the bottom of the product, you can give a real review if you liked it, if you recommend it, or if, maybe it's not that good of a product because you've actually used the entire thing. Now, I thought Project Pan started last year in 2024, but this has actually been a trend that's been going on for years now. I think it's just starting to pick up a little bit more eyeballs on it recently. So whether people are talking about their Project Pan because they want to be held accountable, or people just wanting to share the products that they truly recommend rather than just getting paid to recommend everything, it's really fun to watch social media and people want to use the things they already have, to commit to using those things. Sometimes you may repurchase it because the first couple of times you like it, but by the time you get to the end of the product, you can actually figure out, I don't like this as much as I thought I did at first. Your opinions can change, your thoughts can change, and our bodies and preferences can change. Lots of things can change from the time you buy a product to the time that you finish a product. And a lot of times in Project Pan, we talk about beauty, so a lot of this is makeup, and makeup lasts a very long time. A palette, for example, I have palettes from high school. They are not that pretty, but they are still functional. Anyways, it's fun to watch people hop on the Project Pan movement and commit to actually using up their Project Pan items instead of just constantly going to the next hot thing that someone else on social media recommended. Project Pan is another thing that revolves around sustainability. It's revolving around using what you have and purchasing less. So focusing on underconsumption rather than overconsumption. So these things are super similar. They're just in different fonts. You're reaching a little bit of a different audience, but at the core is sustainability, which is why I want to talk about underconsumption core. This is the other more recent trend that we've been seeing revolved around sustainability on social media lately. I've even done underconsumption core myself, and it's really interesting to see the reactions that people have to underconsumption core. Some people believe underconsumption core is actually just the way normal people live. Like I mentioned, people spend a lot of time on social media. And while you're scrolling social media, you're seeing a lot of creators, not necessarily regular people posting on social media. Just depends, but I would say around 80% of the time you're seeing true creators who are posting because it's their job. So it's really easy to think when you're constantly watching people who are, this is their full-time job, is to buy products, review products, share products, have affiliate codes, these sorts of things, to think that it's normal to have that amount of stuff. It's normal to do that amount of shopping. Underconsumption core takes those ideas and basically says it's not normal. It almost romanticizes in a way of having less, into leaning into the minimalism side of things. Now, underconsumption core, like I said, a lot of people look at it and they think, well, this is actually just how a normal person is supposed to live. But when put on social media, it seems like underconsumption just because there's so much overconsumption that you kind of have to knock it down a bit and say the opposite, that it's underconsumption, even if it's just normal consumption. Now, I'm saying consumption a lot here, so hopefully you followed that. This trend, again, leans itself into minimalism, buying less stuff, sustainable living practices, and has created this sort of cultural shift to intentional purchasing, because we just consume too much. Now that we've seen a couple trends, now that I've shared a few examples, what do these trends mean for the future? I think we're still gonna keep seeing sustainability just evolve with social media and become new and exciting and different types of trends, but at the core of them, again, is still gonna be sustainability. I'm excited to see what the next one will become, because personally, I feel like these trends are so wholesome to see on the internet. It's so exciting to see real people share real experiences on social media without it having this fake aesthetic look to it, or this idea of that you need to continue to buy in order to fit in, to feel better about yourself, etc. Cutting those impulsive purchases has been so rewarding, not just only for my wallet, of course I'm saving money on those things, but also for my mental mental health. Anyways, all of that to say that these trends really inspire me, and I hope that they inspire you as well to continue working on making more conscious choices in our day-to-day lives. That it's not about being a maximalist and having all these things, but just intentionally purchasing things you'll actually use and things you'll actually love, and not buying a new one until you finish the one you already have. So sustainability is definitely a lasting movement. And if you think we're just starting to see this in individuals, I challenge you to look around a little bit more, keep your eyes open, and you will notice that there's actually brands out there who are making sustainable changes and introducing these initiatives into their companies to be more eco-friendly. So no, I don't think it's a trend. I think it is a lifestyle change we are starting to see across the globe, because now companies are starting to respond to the interest that people have in creating a more sustainable environment for future generations to grow up in. Anyways, let me know what you think about these trends. What do you think the next sustainably focused trend will be? Do you think it's going to stick around for a long time, or do you think people are going to basically revert back and go back to overconsumption tendencies? I'm so curious, and I love hearing other people's thoughts on this, so let's start a discussion down in the comments. And of course, if you like this video, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more stuff like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!